right, we are starting into geometry. So we're still going to be working on a lot of multiplication and division every day. After you do the geometry lesson, then you'll be practicing in a few different ways, practicing with multiplication, double digit multiplication, and long division, because we can't lose that. We have to really get those. But we're going to start with some geometry. I think you'll like some of it. So you should have a paper that looks like this. The back side is blank, and I want you to take that paper on the blank side. Mine is not blank. I'm going to use a whiteboard, but I want you to fold it in half. Okay, so mine looks something different. Yours should be blank. Fold it in half. Okay, it does not matter which side you use, but we're going to do two different things on it. So I want you to just start with 1/2 of that blank paper. All right, while we do this, I'm going to be showing you a lot of vocabulary also, and then we'll get them hung up around the room so you can really get to know them. You also need some type of straight edge. Hopefully, between right this moment and the time you watch this video, I found a ton of rulers, but if I did not, you need something that's a straight edge. So I'm just using a book. I'm just going to use the edge of that. You could use a clipboard. The edge of a book would be fine. Just make sure you're using a pencil. Okay, I am not, so I'm not even following that rule. I'm going to use a marker along the side. Lucky for me, it is smooth and easy to wipe it off, but use a pencil if you're not using a ruler. Just use a pencil anyway, but for sure if you're not using a ruler. So if you need to stop the video to get all of that, I want you to get that. You should also have something that looks like this that's already cut out for you. That is just set to the side. We'll use that part way through. All right, so I have lots of things. You can't see them because they're all below that camera. But lots of things I'm going to have to search through as we do. So I want you not to get distracted if I look down. Just means I'm looking for the next thing we need. All right, so you should have 1/2 of a blank piece of paper. This is my blank piece of paper. All right, and what we're going to do is start with this vocabulary. Point. It's an exact location. It looks like what is that little thing called? A dot. That's what it looks like. Okay? And so I want you to draw 2 points. Okay? You just need to be away from each other. And we're going to call one A. So put an A by it. And one B. So this is an exact location. It's at point A or point B. All right? And that's all a point is. That's really easy. Okay? Next, I want you to use your straight edge, and I want you to connect those dots. Now, I can do it just by drawing. I mean, that's easy. We can do that. But when we're actually looking at shapes and things, they need to be super straight. So just for ease for me, I'm not going to hold this up and try and do it. I'm just going to draw it. While I'm doing that, you use your straight edge and connect the lines, or connect the dots. Okay? Just make it straight and make it go from one dot to the other. All right? So they each have a point, A and B, and then you use that straight edge to make a line. Okay? We call this a line segment. A line segment is a part of a line that includes 2 points called endpoints, and all the points in between them. So let's say I put another dot on there, another point, and called it C. That would be, although they'd be out of order, that would be another point along the way. So this is a line segment. A line, this is probably, you've always called this a line. Draw a line. Well, a line technically goes on forever and ever. And we're going to talk about those in a minute. I'll show you how you know that. Okay? But a line segment is just a line, but it has 2 points on it. All right? So if we were going to list this or label it, we would do it like this. We'll call it A, B, and then we just put the line above it. It's a line segment because I don't really have to draw, I don't have to draw the dots on there, but because I'll show you how I know if it's not a line segment in a minute. All right, but that just tells me this is A, this is B, that's a line. All right, so you might see sometime directions where it says draw and it'll show you this. That means draw a line from point A to point B. I could also call it BA. All right, so I want you to put that on your paper also. Should be making yours look just like mine. Use the paper the same way I am. Draw in the middle, right on the side. All right? Okay, now we're gonna draw point C, but it cannot be anywhere on A or B. Okay, so I'm gonna put mine up here. Now, I don't mind if you don't do it exactly like mine, but for the first time, I would not try to just be like, oh, I'm gonna do something totally different, because I don't want you not to be able to find something we're looking at, okay? So there's point C. All right, use your straight edge, and I want you to connect the dots, but this time, I don't want you to stop, okay? So I want them to keep going like this, okay? Now, on the ends, I want you to put arrows, okay? When you do that, I'm gonna find my other vocabulary word. There we go. This is a line. A line is a straight path of points in a plane that continues without end in both directions, and it does not have any end points. Okay, now this is a plane, P-L-A-N-E, not that flies in the sky, just like a flat surface. Across the plane, so across this, I could put points on here. I could have A, B, C, D. I can have as many points, and technically, this whole line is made up of points. I just don't have them labeled, and you don't see the dark dot, okay? But they're all made up. But if they have arrows on it, that's a line. It means they go on forever and ever. Now, just like we can never count forever and ever, we say the numbers go to infinity. We can never count that far. I can never draw a line that long. There's not enough space, okay? But as you learn geometry, these arrows mean it goes on forever. If you see the dots, that's a line segment. They're saying start here, end here. All right, so this line here is AC, but I'm gonna put the arrows on it when I write it over here to show this goes on forever. I didn't start at A and end at C because they keep going. So when I draw that line above it, I still have to have the arrows. What's the other name I could call it? CA. I can go either way. Okay, so write those on there. All right. Now I want you to look at AB. That's a line segment. AC. That's a line, right? All right. Sorry, I'm trying to look at all of this stuff so I don't miss one of the things I want to show you. All right. This one right here, I can, sorry. All right, never mind. Never mind I said anything about that one. We're gonna draw again. All right, so this time I want you to draw a D. Let's draw the D kind of over here. Make a point for him. Use your straight edge. And then go further through and put an arrow on it. All right? This one has an end point, but it goes on forever, right? It has those arrows. Okay, an end point is a point at the end of a ray or a line segment. So just like these are points on the line, but here, A in AC, this is a line, and A is just a point on it. But for AB, they're both end points because that's where they end, right? So this one, I gotta find the other word. I know you're not surprised about this because you think I'm very unorganized, but I have it all together. All right, this one is array. It's a line with one endpoint that goes on forever in one direction. So look at BD. It has an endpoint right there, but it goes on forever. Okay, so when I write it, I'm gonna write it just like what it is. I'm going to make the line, and then I'm going to put the arrow for which direction or above which letter goes on forever. So I couldn't do BD with the arrow because B is the end point. It doesn't go on forever. So I just do the little line, oops, and then put the arrow. Okay, that shows that goes on forever. And we call that array, R-A-Y. So I want you to write array right here to show that one's array. I want you to write line segment, S-E-G, segment, M-E-N-T. Write that above A-B because that has 2 points. And then this one, AC, what's that called? It goes on forever. That's a line, L-I-N-E. I wrote that one kind of messy. All right, so I want you to write those. Okay, now we're gonna draw point E, but it cannot be on any of these lines. It cannot be on line AC, it cannot be on line segment AB, and it cannot be on ray BD. Okay, so I'm gonna put it down here where there's some room. It's gonna be my letter E, and it's gonna go on forever too. It's gonna be a ray. So use your line segment, or excuse me, your straight edge. Connect from B to E, but make it go on forever. Just like that. Okay? I'll write it here in just a minute, but I want you to try to write me over here. How do we write what this is? See if you got the same thing I did. Should look like that. B-E. And by the E is the arrows. It goes on forever. And then what would this be called? It has one endpoint and goes on forever. Just like BD, it's a ray. All right? Now, I want you to notice, I can't trace it, but notice on yours. I want you to go, take your finger, go from B to D, D to B, and B to E. Notice how you can go back and forth through those, and you do not have to pick up your finger, or if you were tracing with your pencil, you don't have to pick up your pencil. Okay, so both rays are connected, and they have the same endpoint. So like if I drew a line right here, it almost looks like that would be a triangle, right? It looks like corners somewhat on something. All right, so this right here, D, B, E, or going this way, E, B, D, that is called an angle. An angle is a figure formed by two line segments or rays that share the same endpoint. What endpoint do they share? Letter B. So I can call this DBE or EBD. I have to go in the order, okay? So I can't start with B, because otherwise I have to call it like BE, EBD, right? I have to go from one of the points on the rays to the point that they share, which will be in the middle, to the other one. So you can write it DBE, write that, and then write EBD. But because these are angles, I don't write anything above them. I only write above them when they're lines or rays or line segments. It's an angle. It looks like this. So that's what we're going to draw right in front of it. And we call that angle DBE, angle EBD. Okay? I want you to draw this little arc right here. That almost looks like a smile. That's to show you that's an angle. And as we work this week, we'll see there's a way to measure that angle. Okay? All right. Now, I have to erase mine. Well, yeah. I'll write in here. I'll write in my space. Because I want you, it's blurry all of a sudden. Sorry. Okay, I'll write in my space because I don't want you to go to the other side of the paper yet. That's the problem. So find space on yours. I'm going to write right up here. But if you have other space over here somewhere, write it. I just want you, using your straight edge, to draw a rectangle. Okay, so all 4 lines should be very straight, unlike mine. Okay, and then I want you to put A, B, C, D in the corners. Okay, I want you to see right here. You can trace it a little darker with your pencil. We have angles here. ACD or DCA. There's an angle. What endpoint do they share? Letter C. Okay, what's another angle? See if you can find one. And then I'll name them all and see if you got any of them. Okay, we could share A, BAC, CAB. We could share B, ABD, DBA. Or we could share D, CDB, BDC. Those are all angles. All right? So I know that kind of goes fast. You know, always rewatch the video. Tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, you'll see the vocabulary up, and we'll be practicing with these. So it's not like, oh, I have to know this right this second. Okay, we'll keep practicing with it. It won't be super, super difficult. All right, so right now, I want you to take your paper and flip it over, and I want you to get your circle that looks like this. Now, I only have this one, so I'm not gonna cut it out because this is what I am using to make what you're picking up right now. All right, so my circle is not as fancy. My circle looks just like this. I want you to hold yours up. Okay? I want you on these straight lines, your line segment, because it stops across. So fold it on that evenly. And then you should still end up with, on each side of that fold, a line segment going there. I want you to fold that again. All right? So what I want you to see is, if we had drawn this, I could put A, B, C. And what would this be called? Do you remember what that is? It's a figure formed by 2 line segments or arrays that share the same endpoint. What's that word? Angle. That's an angle. And this one, when it goes straight across the bottom and straight up and down, they meet right there. We call that a right angle. As we begin measuring these later this week, you'll find that this is 90 degrees, not like temperature, but we can measure something in degrees also. But don't worry about that right now. Just know that this is a right angle. Okay? So what I want you to do, if I can find my other paper, I want you, I told you to flip it over to the other side. Yours doesn't look like that. Your other blank side. I actually want you to open it up. So it looks like this. What are all of those? They're angles, okay? And so what they did here was they only labeled the meeting point, the end point that they share. Okay, so this is angle A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, okay? Right angles is kind of almost a benchmark, like something we use for everything in angles. So this is a right angle, and then either everything at an angle is either equal to this, it's greater than this, which means its endpoint is still like this, and one side will be straight, but you'll see as you look on here, they don't all look like this. That can get confusing. But the other will either go greater than 90 degrees, or it will be less than 90 degrees. All right? So what you're going to do is work with your partner. I want you, well, sorry, I shouldn't say work with a partner yet. You will in just a second. I want you to take this, okay? I want you to put it on letter A. Put it in the corner, just like this. You see how this doesn't work so well when I have to hold it up. It's easier when I can put it on the document camera. Put this into the corner by A, but try, if you can, to not cover up the lines totally. So maybe just put it a little bit above the line so that the corners meet. Let's see if I can do this to show you. Okay, you see how you can see that straight line underneath, and you can see the straight line up. You see that? If it fits in there like that, that's equal to this. It means it's a right angle. All right, so I want you, I can't write on this paper, but you'll have to do it. By the A, either going up or to the side, I want you to write right, R-I-G-H-T, right angle. Okay? What you're going to do with a partner is look. I'm going to show you two other things, but you're going to look at all of these. Okay, so I want you to do it with somebody and decide together, hey, is this equal? Does it equal a right angle? Okay, if it equals a right angle, then you write right. It means you'll be able to see it. All right, now if I move it over, I'll say, oh, I can't see that. You have to make this little point fit in that corner. Okay, when it fits in the corner, I can see that line. All right, so look at angle B. Okay, do the same thing. Get that corner, that point in the corner. Make it so you can see kind of the bottom line a little bit. Okay, hold mine up carefully. Can you see the bottom line on mine? And on yours. Yours will be easier because it's on the flat desk. Okay, I make that line, that corner of my paper go in the corner of the angle. But then what happens? What happens to the other line? I see just a tiny bit of it and then it disappears. That means it's not a right angle. It's less than that. It's less than my right angle because it disappears. So it went, like on this one, it went a little bit inside of it. Okay, so when that happens, I want you to write less on it, L-E-S-S. All right, and then let's try letter C. Do it again. Put this into the corner. All right. Oh, my fingers aren't long enough to hold it on here. All right, put it into the corner, and then what happens? I can see the other line, but what else do I see? Some space in there. That means that it's more, it's greater than my angle, okay? Than my right angle. It's going out, oops, further than that. It's greater than. So on those ones, I want you to write greater. So I want you to take literally probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 minutes. I'll give you 2 minutes with a partner. Press pause on the video. 2 minutes. Just measure them really quickly. All right? Measure them quickly and then push play. And we're going to go over them. Which ones are equal, which is a right angle, less, or greater. I'm going to tell you what the names of those are and get you going on your assignment. Okay? Push pause. 2 minutes. Go. All right. When you push play, you should have them done. All right, so, okay, I should have used that time to get to the right page. Let's look. I'm going to tell you all the ones that are right angles. Okay, see if you got them right. If you got it wrong, I want you to circle the full angle in your answer. Okay, all right, so the right angles are A, you should have had that one right, angle E, and angle G. Okay, or give me a thumbs up or your sub because I can't see you. A thumbs up if you got all 3 of those. All right, the ones that are less, smaller than this right angle, those ones are angle B, D, F. Okay, give your, oh my goodness, give your sub a thumbs up if you got those ones right. I'm noticing vocabulary I didn't show you, but that's okay. We'll do it. I'm looking for one. I'll do those on the next one tomorrow to review it. Okay, those ones that are less than the 90 degrees, those are called acute angles. an angle that measures greater than 0 degrees and less than 90 degrees. So those ones that we just said are less, angle B, D, and F, those are acute, okay? You can kind of think of it like a cute little baby, okay? Something that's small and little, acute, okay? Then the ones that are greater that you should have written greater on are angles C, H, I, and J. All right, those ones that are greater, I don't have a vocabulary word for them right now, but the word is obtuse, O-B-T-U-S-E, obtuse, either way, that's what it looks like. All right, so you don't have to worry too much about the words right now. We'll keep working on them so you remember them, but I want you to take that paper. If there's time, I told you you have like half of a blank piece. If there's time, like maybe 3 minutes, you can use that and draw some angles on there. Use your straight edge, okay? Draw some angles on there and then switch it with your partner. Use your sheet or your folded circle and decide, are they equal, greater, or less than? Okay, and just practice with that. That paper will go home with you today in your red folder. If you don't have your red folder, you're gonna have to make a pile of papers, and maybe if there's a stapler that's working, you can staple that and take it home, but it needs to go home with you, not left at school. All right, right now you're gonna work on these 2 pages. And they should be pretty simple, but it's just practice, all right? So you're gonna practice, and then when you're done, you're going to be practicing with multiplication and division. You really want to get there, because if you're not getting to the multiplication and division, that's going to end up becoming homework by Tuesday, Wednesday-ish. Those are things we're going to start sending home. This side, it will give you the directions. Draw 2 points, make it a line segment, different things like this. Okay, so follow the directions on that. The other side is what you just did. There's angles. Use your right angle to decide, are they less than, which is acute? Are they equal to, which is right? Or are they obtuse, which is greater, okay? And don't get, I should have showed you on this, but don't get too worried. Like look at letter E. It looks like it's upside down. Don't worry about that. All you have to worry about is that this little corner, I'll show you one of the words I forgot to show you. It's called a vertex. I like that word. It's the point where 2 rays of an angle or 2 or more line segments meet. In shapes, we often call them corners. It's a corner, a vertex. All you have to do is make sure that that gets right in where the 2 points meet, okay? So line it up on one of them, on one of the line segments, and then you can see, if you can see it still, it's greater, it's bigger. If it disappears, that means it's under there, then it's less than. If it lines straight up with it, then that would be a right angle. All right, practice with those. Let your sub just kind of look at it. Either you can use a key, that means one that already has all the answers on it, and check it, or your sub can look at it. It'll be quick and easy to tell, did you do it? Are you kind of getting it? Ask questions if you have them, and then take that paper home. Show it to somebody tonight and see, even more than showing somebody, see if you can find those line segments and rays and angles and right angles in things that you see around you, like in real shapes. Try and see those, all right? Go practice, do a great job.